Hi there, Doggy Dan here from theonlinedogtrainer.com. This video from Project Moses is all about, there's little Moses, it's all about basically how we set up my home for the arrival of little Moses. Here's the rooms we had to work with: living room, dining room, kitchen. There's the outdoor area. Now, this is where you've really got to think, almost before you get your puppy, where do you want him to go toilet? It's one of the biggest considerations to where you set him up. Obviously, most people want their puppy to go toilet on the grass. So for me, it was a no-brainer. Getting him right near these doors was really important. There's no one single rule applies. Some people may be happy for their puppy to go toilet on the decking to start with. For me, the real decision was whether I should roll up this carpeted area, and there's a lino underneath, and put his pen in this area, or whether to leave this carpet down and really monitor him carefully and set him up on the wooden floor. I decided I'd set myself a little bit of a challenge of making sure he doesn't pee on the carpet, because I could have put him in this corner we're looking at now, right next to the door, which would have made it probably even easier for myself. I'd have rolled up the carpet, but you know, the wooden floor is great. We did have a big rug there. We've rolled that up. There's still a little mat by the front door. Got to watch out he doesn't use that as a toilet pad. And the one at this end of the house, at the end of the kitchen, he did actually use that very, very quickly as a little toileting area. So we've rolled that one up and taken it away. Here's a baby gate. Consider using baby gates. They're fantastic for allowing air to flow through the house. If it's hot in the summer, people can step over them. They're like a temporary barrier. You can't get through them. It's not forever. It's just whilst you're toilet training him. All these areas he's allowed into. That you're looking at now, but not down this corridor. So this door is always kept shut, or we put the baby gate in that place, or he's in his penned or crate, penned area when we open that door. And here's his pack. Here's Peanut, who looks after him. She monitors the situation, and here's his nanny, Inca. Inca the nanny. She does a great job. And he's allowed into these areas on this wooden floor, but only when we've got what I call the mind space. If you're in a rush and you can't keep an eye on him, and you haven't taken him out for toilets, don't take him out. Leave him in his penned area or his crated area, I would. You've got to be thinking about controlling him, controlling his environment, and controlling his little bladder, and making sure it's empty and that you're not setting him up to fail. So back to the big decision of how I came to the choice of putting him here. First of all, I had to decide, did I want to use a crate or a pen or neither or both. I decided I'd go with both, just to show you sort of the advantages of using them. There's advantages and disadvantages of everything. The beauty of a crate is, you know, you can close that little door there, sort of areas within areas. So it's very easy to control his whereabouts. The decision on where to put him, there were other options. As I said, we could have put down a tarpaulin, and for some people that's the only option. It's all carpeted, the whole house. You could have put a tarpaulin down on that rug and protected it that way. Or here's a lino. A lot of people have small laundries, washroom areas. There's actually a tarpaulin underneath this carpet here, which, as I say, we could have rolled up the entire carpet and rug to keep it safe. And you put it down, you know, within maybe 4 months when he's 6 months old and toilet trained. But he's got this entire area of wooden floor, which is very easy to mop up any mistakes and that we make forgetting to take him out in time. But going back to this lino area, it's a fantastic area. There's a few wires there which aren't great. You'd have to set them up, protect him from those, and the cat flap, you'd have to watch out for that. But this is a great area for somebody who wanted a secure, safe place. You could put a baby gate up there, and you'd only let him out when you felt you could monitor him and keep an eye on him so he didn't make any mistakes. So overall, as you can see, it's about setting up areas within areas so you can keep an eye on him, and you really let him out when you've got the mind space and the time to keep an eye on him, keep track of him, and make sure that everything works out well. If you're interested in puppy training, in Project Moses, and in keeping track of his progress, then check out theonlinedogtrainer.com video website. Before you bring your puppy home, make sure you've got absolutely everything all set up, ready, in place, ready to go. Puppy's going to be very tired, possibly exhausted. You're going to be very excited. You just want to be able to relax and enjoy the whole experience. So here's Moses coming home in his little crate. We've got everything ready for him. He was a tired little boy when he arrived. So the first thing you should do is make sure he's got a nice big cool drink of water so he can recover, rehydrate, and just to enjoy his first few moments and in his new home. Once he's had his big drink, then remember, it's all about toilet training. Just remember, take him outside. After every big drink, take him outside. When you take him out of his pen or his crate, take him outside. This is the start of your puppy's training. Set him up to win. You'll be so pleased with yourself when he goes toilet outside. And then bring him in and just let him settle. Here he is settling in for the first time in his new little home. The crate door is open, but he is inside that pen. He can't run around the whole house. And that's important. It's about settling him down, allowing him to enjoy his new environment, relax, and not feel like there's any pressure on him. So he immediately starts to enjoy the smells of this new place. There's a little one of my t-shirts in there, so he's getting used to my smell, which is very important. And also, he's got some toys in there. Then when he's relaxed, then you can start thinking about introducing him to the family. So first of all, make sure everybody's relaxed. Here's little Stanley, decided to give him some of his own food. Whoops, we stopped that. But as you can see, the children, here's Sage, the children are on the outside of the crate, and I'm gauging whether he's happy. His tail's wagging, they're just watching. We've asked them to be very calm. We've told him he's a little puppy. We need to be quiet and relaxed around him. Stanley and dear Moses here are forming a bond. And you can see Moses is wagging his tail. He's actually keen to come out. We want him to be calm, we want Stanley to be calm, and then everything will go well. Every puppy and every child is different, and it's really about gauging whether your child is calm and relaxed and your puppy is calm and relaxed before you progress to the next stage. If they're not, you may consider maybe taking your puppy for a little bit of a run, or even your child, taking them for a little bit of a walk or a play, and explaining to them that they need to be calm and relaxed around the puppy before they're able to meet them. If they're too excited, I'd suggest that you maybe delay the meeting of them. So here's Stanley just getting ready to meet dear Moses. I decided to take the crate out and we just put some cushions there. And as you can see, Stanley's very relaxed. Moses is very happy. It's all going to be good. We just take our time. And I'm not just going to let the puppy jump around all crazy. I'm not going to let Stanley hold him just yet. I'm going to set us up to win, take it very slowly. Just explain to Stanley that just watch carefully. You can stroke him. There's a pillow to make sure that Stanley doesn't get any scratches. It's important that we get off to a good start here and that nobody has any accidental scratches or anything goes wrong. As you can see, Stanley's a little bit hesitant. That's all good. We'll take our time. I'm keeping control of the situation and we're just staying calm. Here we are a little bit later. We put the crate back in and we've got another big blanket. Again, really just to protect Stanley's little legs. I was getting a t-shirt here so he could have something to chew on. A great idea is to give your puppy a chew toy when they're actually meeting the members of the family so that they've got something to chew on. They've got sharp little claws, sharp little teeth. As you can see, things are starting to go really well. Remember, it's about thinking everything through and focusing your children and everyone on how you want them to behave. I've just suggested here that Stanley goes and gets a few more toys for Moses so that he's got something else to distract him with, so that he's got a little job to do. Then you can see Moses is chewing away on my fingers. So it's about giving him something, giving Moses something to do, focusing Moses on what we want him to do, and also Stanley. You can give him a stroke, so that's his to put in his mouth.
He just loves me all the time.
Now, you should never allow children to put their faces near adult dogs that they do not know. However, with a little 8-week-old puppy like this, it's more a case of I'm going to head down the track of socializing and making sure little Moses is happy and not worried and understands that Stanley is no threat when his face does come close, because that's sort of the way it's going to be. Stanley and Sage are going to be around this puppy. They're going to be around his head height the whole time. So he needs to get used to it. So that's why I'm allowing that. I'm staying relaxed rather than putting everybody on edge whenever his face comes near Stanley's face. If he did start mouthing him, I'd immediately put little Moses probably in timeout, so he gets the message. But as you can see, there's no real intent there from Stanley or Moses of any aggression at all.
I think he loves me, Daddy.
I think he does love you. So there you go. Gauge the situation, gauge the energy of your child, make sure that they're calm and relaxed. Show them how you want them to behave, and keep control of the environment of both your puppy and your child so that everything goes well.
I think it's time.
When it's all gone good, then here's little Moses. We let him out for another little run in the evening, and as you can see, he started to gain confidence. This is his first day. He started going pee-pees on the lawn. It was a real success. And there you have it. That's really how we got him off to his really good start. Hi there, this video is all about something which can bring us a lot of stress. It can bring your puppy a lot of stress, and that's nighttime howling, barking, all that sort of carry on. Basically, we all want our little puppies to sleep happily throughout the whole night, maybe with a toilet stop in the middle. This is really how to get them there. And I'm going to offer you a couple of different suggestions. So, first of all though, it's important just to recognize that your puppy is born in the wild. They're born in a pack with other dogs around and with their siblings. Little Moses here has just been taken really from his two siblings. Luckily for him, he's joined another pack with lots of other dogs, so he has companions. But you just need to be aware of that. Dogs do have feelings. They do, you know, they enjoy company. They're a pack animal. So having other living beings around is very comforting for them. When they don't, they can become a little bit stressed and lonely. And it's because of this that one of the options available to you is that you basically start your puppy off in your bedroom very close by to you. You do not put your puppy in the bed. I would never recommend that. Don't go down that track. You will regret it very likely later on. But if you start your puppy off in their bed, or their crate in your bedroom on the floor, then all you do is you basically move that crate over a period of time, maybe a couple of days or a couple of weeks, when they're a little bit more settled, into the corridor. You know, slowly slide it half a foot at a time, meter at a time, and slowly, without them noticing that much, they become a bit more confident. You move them into the area that you want them to be in long term. Now, before we get on to the actual exercise of what to do when your puppy is whining or crying at night, just a couple of other important things that you can do to set yourself up to win. Basically, the more that you've fulfilled your puppy's needs, and I'm not just talking about exercise, the happier your puppy's going to be when you put them to bed. So exercise is obviously important. If you've got a tired puppy in the evening, they're exhausted, they just want to go to sleep, they're far more likely to switch off and not make so much noise. But also, you know, you needed to have taken them to the toilet, to have fed them, to have watered them, and make sure that they're warm enough, comfy enough, cozy enough, they've got their blankets, maybe a couple of toys in there. So consider all those things, because it is about setting them and you up to win every single evening. That's how you're going to get there. Now, a very important point is simply this. You've got to start off how you mean to go on, and nothing is more true than when it comes to puppies crying and whining at night, because the bottom line is, yeah, if you go in and give them attention, then that's exactly what they wanted, and you've pretty much trained them, you're training them, I should say. They are learning that if they make a noise, they get what they want and you come in. You're just setting yourself up to fail, and it gets harder and harder to break that habit. Now, one last thing before we get onto the training exercise is, remember, you must put your puppy into the crate or into their bed calmly, and you let them out calmly. You've got to take your time. You cannot force them, rush them, or put them in there in a stressed state, walk away and expect them to calm down. It doesn't work like that. So take your time each evening and each morning. So now here's what to do when your little puppy is making all that noise in the middle of the night, or when you've just left them. The thing is to realize, if your puppy is safe, if they can't injure themselves, and if they're warm enough, and they're not too hot, and if you've watered them and fed them, then really you don't need to worry. Because yes, it's stressful for you and a little bit stressful for your puppy, but the kindest and best thing you can do is to totally and utterly ignore them. And what will happen is they may cry for a wee while, they may cry for half an hour or an hour even. I think Moses cried for about an hour at about 2 o'clock in the morning when I'd taken him out for a little wee and then put him back in his crate. He probably cried for half an hour when we put him away the first couple of nights. But we did. I totally and utterly ignored him. Well, to a degree, as you're going to see in a minute. I did actually get up out of bed with the camera to video it so I could show you. But that's what you've got to do. You've got to ignore him. Since then, I've ignored him absolutely 100%. And here we are at day 3, and he slept pretty much, yeah, he did. He slept all the way through the night last night. He didn't cry when we put him down, and yeah, he made a little whimper in the morning, but that was because it was sort of 6 o'clock. It was time to get up anyway. So here's some actual footage of my puppy crying on the second night, and this is how we dealt with it. But it gives you an idea. It is pretty ear-piercing, pretty heart-wrenching, but this is what we did, and it's all working well now. But here we go. And this noise that you're hearing now, this went on pretty much solid for an hour on the first night. Now, because I wanted to catch some of this on video footage, I did get out of bed, I did go into his room, and this is the real footage of that first time I went in there on the first night. This is what he was doing. And this is one little trick you can try if you get absolutely desperate and you can't stand it anymore. I walked in, I pointed the camera towards him, but I didn't look at him, and I certainly didn't say anything. And this is what he did. In fact, I've hardly ever looked at this footage because I wasn't looking at him. But as you can see, he saw that I was calm. I saw that he was calm. I saw my dogs. He saw my dogs. I just said to him, yes, I know you're alive. I know you're well. He barked once there. And then I just turned the light out and I walked away again. And there you can see in the dark, you can see I stood there for a couple of minutes and then I came out of the room. And here's the footage as I walked away. I shut the door. Yes, he's making a little bit of noise, but I can promise you, I pretty much only walked away for a minute or two. And then, as you hear now, I'll stop speaking and you can listen. There's absolutely no noise. He'd got the message. He was fast asleep. Yes, it's heartbreaking. It's tough love, but you can do it. It's for your own good and for your puppy's long-term good. So in summary, just remember, yeah, your puppy is naturally a pack animal. They do have emotions. They do love being around other animals and other people. So they could become a little bit distressed and a little bit scared. So one of the most important things is remember to leave your puppy in a very calm state when you put them in the crate and when you get them out of the crate. Don't get them excited. Before you put them to sleep, remember to feed them, to water them, to give them all the things they need. And obviously, the more you've exercised them, the happier they're going to be. But most importantly of all, remember, you're setting things up now for the rest of your dog's life. So when you hear them crying and whining at night, just ignore them. And I promise you, they'll calm down, they'll get in that habit, and you'll be setting the right routine up for the rest of their lives. In this video, I thought I'd talk a little bit about crate training. This is Moses's crate. Here I am at the SPCA, picking him up and saying goodbye to everybody. Look, Moses had already been in a crate before I got him. However, the same principles apply. I'm going to go through them now as to how to make sure he ends up a very happy pup like he is here as I take him home with me. Now, it may be that you don't have a crate, but you've actually got a pen, something like this here. Or you're going to use a baby gate and have an area where your puppy has to stay. It's the same principles apply, that basically they're going to be in an area, they're going to be able to see you and want to come out. And it's all about understanding how to keep them calm, happy and relaxed in the knowledge that they will get out. But it kind of, they also need to understand sometimes they've got to be in there when they don't really want to. There's not many better examples than this right here. Stanley's in there, and the reason that he's so happy to be in there, of course, is because we haven't forced him. And it's the same with little Moses here. We've put him in there. He's walked in of his own accord. We've maybe put some little treats at the back of his little crate and he's found them and wandered in. He's very calm, happy, relaxed. He's been exercised, he's been watered. He's had everything he could want, and that's why he's so happy. You can see him there, he's chewing his little bone. We've set him up to win. And we'll leave him there for as long as necessary, maybe a couple of minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, but we'll let him out before he starts to cry. You'll see he settles down here, and I decide probably a good opportunity to make a really good association with his little crate there, and we give him a little chew toy, which he gets stuck into. So here's his little chew stick, which he'd sort of lost, so I'm just giving him back to him so that he can really settle down and relax. And when he's very happy, then I'll consider closing the door just for a very short while. It might only be 5 seconds, 20 seconds, but we'll close the door on him and he should be happy as can be. So here we go. He's actually stopped chewing his stick. It's under his paw. Let's flick that stick in there for him. But he's very happy. He's relaxed. We close the little door on him. And because he's had his run, because he's tired, because he's been watered, he's got everything he could need, we just walk away. And I'll let you hear, it's absolutely silent, he's happy. Well, several little runs, trots out. He's very happy. So there you go, that was the running commentary that I was doing when I was actually filming. And as you could tell, he's happy as can be. And what we do is we open the little door and let him out before he starts screaming and crying. So he has a great association with his crate. This little video basically is just going to go through some of the sort of toys that Moses has been playing with, and some of the toys that you can use with your puppy. Look, obviously I've got to say up front, there's always a safety issues. You've always got to be aware of things that a puppy could choke on. However, at the same time, and you've got to be wary of toxicity and that sort of stuff, and stuffing and fluff that could come out of a toy. But at the same time, you can go overboard and be overcautious. At the end of the day, puppies, you know, in the wild, wolves, little wolf puppies and dog puppies in the wild, they have all these natural leaves and sticks that they chew on. So you've got to weigh up almost the danger and the risk with sort of reality that, at the end of the day, puppies can choke on anything, so can little children. I mean, little children, a lot of little children, they eat a lot of dirt and all the rest of it. So, here's some of Moses' favourite toys. Basically, we've got, I think it's great to have a little teddy bear that they can sort of play humpy, rumpy, pumpy with. They climb on top, and they understand that it's very different from a stick. They kind of recognise that it is a cuddly little cute toy, almost their mate, their cuddle toy that they'll cuddle up to at night. So they do treat these toys, they do treat them all differently, I guess is where I'm coming from. So that's one of his little favourite ones. One thing to watch out for is the stuffing. Just make sure that the stuffing inside isn't of the sort of nature which is really risky for puppies, or that if you see it's sort of something unstitching, then possibly repair it or get rid of it, get a new one. Now this is a very simple little toy which I find is incredibly popular with puppies. It allows them to, it's just a tea towel which we've tied a knot in. You can dampen it, moisten it, put water in it, especially in the summer where it's hot. And then they can sink their little teeth into it. It's that sort of texture where their teeth can go right through it, and yeah, it really massages their gums when they're teething. You can play a little bit of, they'll shake it around a bit, you can grab the other end, but they love to shake those sort of things. Look, here's just some natural twigs. He just knows it's natural. Your puppies do love nature, they do love the twigs. They can sink their teeth into this and shred little pieces off, which is always fun for them. Again, you've got to watch out that they don't choke on them. But going back to nature, this is what they chew on. Here's a very soft stick, and again, the beauty of this is that he can get his teeth into it and he crushes and munches it up. It keeps him happy for a long time. It's one of his favourites. Here's a slightly bigger stick which he can just chew on, get his teeth into. Much harder. Again, a little stick which he enjoys having in his crate. And again, it's this soft nature of this which is why it's so popular with him. A couple of little toys here, just cardboard. Again, puppies do enjoy chewing on cardboard, crunching it up, sticking their little teeth into it. The whole point is you don't have to spend a fortune to give your puppy something. It may occupy him for 20 minutes or a couple of days. Toilet rolls, egg boxes. You put one little biscuit inside an egg box and your puppy will be challenged probably for half an hour trying to get it out. Here's a couple of rope toys. I've put a knot in these just to make it a little bit more interesting, and Moses has loved untwining this, and he loves the little tickling on his face. I think it's very similar almost to the edge of a carpet, where you have those tassels along the edge of a carpet. So again, the idea is that if your puppy is chewing a carpet, give them something similar to chew on. If your puppy is trying to chew cardboard boxes and newspaper, give them something similar to chew on. If your puppy is trying to chew something wooden, give them something wooden to chew on. And if your puppy is chewing cloth the whole time, give them some sort of cloth to chew on. And here's just another couple of plastic toys which he's enjoyed playing with, and a little squeaky bone there. But again, the squeaky bone hasn't been used any more or less than any of the other toys. And there's a little bit of rubber, and he's absolutely loved this piece of rubber. Puppies understand the different textures, and you do need to give them all those different textures just so they can experience them, because if you don't, then they'll go looking to experience them, and they'll probably find ones that you don't want them to play with. So, just a selection of his toys. You can rotate them, but I wouldn't get overexcited about rotating them and that sort of stuff. Here's Moses' toys. They're all down on the ground at the same time. We've also got a little white ball which I can't find, which he loves knocking around. Maybe a golf ball or something like that, or a plastic ball. He's really enjoyed that, but it seems to have gone walkabout, so can't show you that at the minute. All good. Speak to you later. Hi there. So look, I'm just in my little office again, and I thought I'd just give you an example of something I've been doing an awful lot of since I got dear little Moses, and that's ignoring him. Ignoring him when I leave the room, and ignoring him when I come back into the room. So look, I'll try and give you a good example of how. Well, I can promise you he knows I'm leaving. There you go, his eyes are open, look. All I'm trying to show you is, yeah, I close the door, and it doesn't matter whether I leave him for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. When I come back in, and that's just been through practice, through repetition, but it's one of the most important things you can do with your puppy. I know it sounds incredibly boring, but that's the truth. Sometimes the truth is far simpler than we like it to be. If you start when your puppy is only 8 weeks old, leaving them for very short periods of time like this, then this is the response you're going to have. When you come back, they're not going to be all over excited and jumping up. They're going to be calm and relaxed, and that is incredibly important. You want a dog to be happy and relaxed when you're not around, so that when they're older, you can leave them and go to work for long periods of time and not worry that they're stressed and barking with separation anxiety. Now, you may have seen me just drop that little rope toy, one of Moses's rope toys, by his little nose. It's lying nearby him now. The reason I've done that and shown you it, and I've extended this video, is because, again, I'm setting him up to win, so that when he wakes up, there he is, he's fast asleep, I think, with his eyes open almost. When he wakes up, I want him to straight away start chewing that toy, rather than getting up to mischief and chewing something. There it is, in the top right-hand corner, the little yellow rope toy. And that's exactly what happens. He starts to chew it when he wakes up. So here we are, maybe half an hour later. He's woken up. He's found his little piece of rope, which I put next to him, and he's chewing it. And on the left-hand side there, you can see there's a load of plugs and wires, all sorts of things that you wouldn't want him to be chewing. And he's not, because he knows that's his toy. I put it in his crate all the time. And as you can see, he's very happy to leave all the other stuff alone, provided you set him up to win and give him something that he is allowed to chew and play with. What I'm trying to say is, puppies by nature, they're not always trying to be naughty. They love exploring, investigating, but also, look, there's all the plugs and wires. But also, if you set him up to win and you give him something to chew, then very often that solves the problem. And in dear little Moses' case, that's exactly what happened. So always set your puppy up to chew. You can put a whole load of toys or things around him, but don't set him up to fail and then start shouting at him. It's just not fair. Puppies, they need to be guided just like young children. Hi there, Doggy Dan here. Look, this video is all about ignoring your puppy, and the reason I've made it is because, look, just like you, I love my puppy too. However, I'm a professional dog trainer. I work with I've worked with thousands of people, and the number of people who simply had to learn how to ignore their puppy and the problems would disappear is quite phenomenal. That's why I've made this movie, because people say, why didn't anyone tell us this early on? That ignoring our puppy would give our puppy the message that he's not in charge, and it would stop things like separation anxiety, barking, aggression. All these issues are grounded in the fact that your puppy often thinks that they're in charge, or your dog. So, ignore your puppy when you come home. Ask visitors and friends to ignore your puppy when they come in the room. Even if you've just popped off to the bathroom for 2 or 3 minutes, ignore your puppy. If there's one thing you get out of this video website, it's ignore your puppy when you come in the room and wait until they calm down and relax. You may use timeout if they're jumping at you or mouthing you. Stay calm, stay silent, ignore them until they're fully relaxed and totally given up. It's not cruel, just like it's not cruel to ignore fish or cats if you come in the room. That's not cruel. It's because they're completely different animals. And if you want to give your dog the message that you're in charge so that they can switch off and relax and live happy lives, then that's what you've got to do. And that's why dear Moses is so happy and relaxed. That's why he knows I'm in charge, because I put that rule in place. And if there's one thing you get out of this video website, it's that. Ignore your dog or your puppy when you come in the room. Then they can relax and lead happy lives. And I don't think there's anything more lovely than seeing a dog who is happy, relaxed, and doesn't have a care in the world. I see far too many who are totally stressed out because they think they've got to be in charge and protect the property and the pack. Here's Moses. He's a happy dog. We ignore him. He knows he's not in charge, and that's how it's going to stay, and that's why he's going to lead a wonderful, happy little life. So do what's best for your dog. You'll be very, very happy as time goes by. So here we are. We're just about to leave little puppy, little baby Moses, for the first time. So we're going to head off, and that's the state we're leaving him in. And as you can see, we'll leave him in a very calm state, and this is the real key. You leave him in a calm state and you return and ignore him. It's as simple as that. And we're only going to be gone for about an hour and a half, which is a fairly long time, but he'll be fine. He's been watered, he's been exercised, he's tired, so he's very happy. So here we are returning about 2 hours later. It's absolutely crucial that you always ignore your puppy or your dog when you return home. However, because we're toilet training Moses, we're going to pick him up very calmly and take him outside for a wee. So he's been left for 2 hours on his own, and he's as calm as can be. And now we just put him on the ground, tell him to go wee-wees, and there you go. 2 little toilet training tips. First of all, take him out immediately when you return home, and also carry him out. Don't make him walk, because the movement of his legs could trigger a response from his bladder. Because we've been leaving him for little separations when we've been in the house, going to other parts of the house for 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 minutes, he's been absolutely fine when we've increased that length of time.